Okay guys, it is happening. Oliver Queen is back. We just got our first trailer showcasing the return of Stephen Amell. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. So we're going to be breaking down the Flash trailer for the next episode after tonight's episode. So this is episode 9 of season 9, titled It's My Party and I'll Die If I Want To. And this is a huge episode. The trailer teases so much in terms of story that I don't know, this feels like more than one episode. It feels like a proper crossover story. We're gonna get into this and break everything down bit by bit because it is mind-blowing. I'm so excited, you guys, and I'm sure you are. Let me know how you're feeling right now after seeing this trailer. This has been exclusively released by TV Line. Link will be in the description below to the actual trailer so you can go watch it for yourself. So let's go through this trailer shot by shot and break it down. So at the start of the trailer, it teases the return of Oliver Queen. I'm going to show you one shot right here and we'll get into Oliver later in this video because that's truly when you get to see all the scenes of him back and interacting with Grant Gustin's Barry Allen. So the first shot of the trailer, or one of the first shots, is of Oliver in the streets of Central City as the Green Arrow, once again confirming he is back as Green Arrow. He is not the Spectre. He is supposedly alive and well, which again we have no confirmation as to how he's alive, but it seems he is here, and we know this is a shot where he's next to Diggle and he's fighting Bloodwork. So let's move on to the next shot, and obviously we get more details about this entire big episode. So it's a surprise party for Barry. It's Barry's 30th. They explain in the episode, according to TV Line, why it's his 30th, even though that was supposed to have been a few years ago. But nevertheless, everyone is here, the whole of Team Flash, plus some extra familiar faces. So in this shot you get to see Kid Flash, aka Wally West. So good to see Keenan Lonsdale back. We have John Diggle, aka Spartan, alongside the two CCPD familiar faces from the past and obviously the present, that being Kramer and also Singh, the ex-captain of CCPD. And so this is a surprise party. It seems like Iris has actually set this up because in the next shot Barry is completely surprised, but Iris is not very surprised. He is just smiling. And so this is a great reunion of all these characters, and it's a perfect explanation to bring them all back and invite them to come to Star Labs and reunite. And actually John Diggle gives Barry a present, and that present is something that Oliver would have apparently wanted Barry to have after his death, and that is in fact, as you can see in this shot, Oliver's bow and arrow. Obviously Barry doesn't have any use for it because he's not an archer. However, it's just like a symbolic gesture from Diggle for Barry, just the fact that, you know, Oliver really cared for Barry, and really this is all leading into the return of Oliver Queen, and he's going to be using that bow and arrow once again. So moving on to the next shot, you get to see Barry's reaction as he sees it for the first time in like 3 years since Oliver's death. But as the party goes on, everyone's drinking, having a good time, talking to each other, standing up in the middle of Star Labs, and things go south as Barry realizes that their drinks have been spiked. And so it seems like Barry was able to realize before he actually consumed much of it, and that was probably because he was over with John Diggle being given Oliver's old bow and arrow. And so it seems someone has spiked the drinks, and that person is in fact Bloodwork, because Bloodwork is back in the next shot, and he says to Wally West, "The last time I encountered Team Flash, I learned a crisis to end the multiverse was coming." I'm paraphrasing here, he says it in like 2 sentences. That's basically the gist of what he was saying. But the real question is, why is he here with Wally West? And where is Wally? Well, it seems this is Wally's apartment. I have no idea what set he is in. It might be in a different country. We know Wally has been pretty much AWOL for a while. That's why we haven't seen him on any of the shows. But somehow Bloodwork has tracked him down, and he's got an agenda. He's trying to go after Wally, presumably to go after Barry and the rest of Team Flash for what they did to him, for locking him up. And, you know, he was captured by Argus, but he has seemingly broken out in this episode or previously before. And so he's on the loose, and he's on a mission to get back at Team Flash and specifically Barry. And so somehow he finds himself in the presence of Wally West, and doesn't seem like Wally is going to do much here. And I don't know if this is before or after the surprise party. Maybe he actually got to him before that surprise party, or it could happen right after. But nevertheless, we know that most of those drinks were spiked, and I believe Wally was one of the people drinking those drinks. So yeah, you can gather the timeline as you will, but we'll just have to wait and see what order this all actually unfolds. And so now let's get to the juicy bit, guys, because we, in the next shot, see Barry presumably on Lian because Lian is featured in the trailer. And why would Barry be on Lian? Well, I'm not sure how he ended up here or what he's done, but something clearly big is happening to do with blood work. I don't know if it's anything specifically related to Barry, apart from the fact that, you know, blood work is coming back for revenge and he is, you know, messing things up. But in the shot after this, we have the return of Stephen Amell as Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow. And so he is here. You can see there's a campfire in the background. Presumably been here a while. I guess he's been camping out on Lian. Maybe this is just a way of how he got back, and then this is just where he landed. And so he says, Barry, 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 what have you done this time? And I tell you what, when I first heard this in the trailer, I got chills. And I'm sure you guys all agree with me. This is just so amazing to see Stephen Amell back as Green Arrow after 3 years since his character's death. And so Barry can't believe his eyes, just like us, and he goes in for a hug with Oliver, but he actually doesn't let go. He is in awe, he is shocked, he wants explanations, but first things first, he's got to hug his friend because it's been such a long time, 3+ years since Oliver supposedly died. And yes, he did die, they had a funeral and everything, but somehow, some way, he has returned, and this is actually him, and Barry is shocked to see this. And so let's move on to the next shot. This is a very mysterious shot. Barry is in complete darkness, but he is completely engulfed by this red light. Now, obviously, we know Bloodwork is the villain of this episode, so you can presume it's something to do with Bloodwork. Or is Barry seeing some sort of projection of what's about to come, because big multiverse changes are going to be happening as teased in this very trailer. As Oliver says, it's not just your world that's in danger, a new multiverse to replace the one that had fallen is coming. And so this is much bigger than I ever anticipated this episode would be, despite the fact that we have so many characters returning, and this is huge seeing the return of Oliver Queen specifically, just being back from the dead. So in the next shot of the trailer, you have Barry and Oliver inside Star Labs, so they do return after their little trip to Lian, and Oliver is fully suited up in his Green Arrow costume, and he gets that bow and arrow that he last used before he was killed in Crisis on Infinite Earths, picks it up, and they go to battle. And so what the hell is happening, guys? And it seems like Barry is shocked just by the fact that Oliver is just back and he's ready to go at Bloodwork to stop this from happening. And we know that this supposed new multiverse, as far as we know, is something to do with Bloodwork and his plan. I have no idea how Bloodwork would be able to create a new entire multiverse to replace the one that had fallen in Crisis, but maybe he has help from someone else and that's just a bigger overarching story. Perhaps it links into the next graphic novel. We know that the next graphic novel is going to be Cobalt Blue, so is there a link between the release and escape of Bloodwork and Cobalt Blue? As far as we know, this episode is an interlude episode, but it's like a half interlude episode because it's very important for the Flash's ending, because you're seeing the return of Oliver Queen and John Diggle, plus also Wally West, and then presumably they're going to be leading into the episodes afterwards, which aren't interlude episodes if you guys didn't know. So we'll have to wait and see if this multiverse changing story is going to be just a 1-episode thing and they're going to be able to stop it, or is it going to continue into the back half of this season? Okay, so the next shot we have is of a soldier, presumably an Argo soldier, that has been taken over by Bloodwork, and you can see the eyes have been completely absorbed in darkness, just like we've seen in the past with Barry when he turned into this dark Flash. And then we go back to Wally's apartment and we have various shots of Wally and Bloodwork, and he says, "Choose life. No one wants to watch their loved ones die." and this is obviously him trying to coerce him into the plan in order to maybe give up Barry and Team Flash. And we know that lots of Team Flash are going to be affected by blood work. I don't know how. I presume it's something to do with the fact that their drinks were spiked at his birthday, and you can maybe guess he actually forced Wally to spike their drinks, and I guess that's the only way to save them, although they're still going to be affected by blood work by being taken over. So in the next shot we have Allegra, who is completely taken over by blood work, so she is Dark Allegra, I guess we could call her. So she's inside Star Labs, it looks like, and she's going after Chester and I guess anyone that's around in Star Labs. Wally gets taken over as well, you can see in this next shot, and there is a couple of shots throughout the trailer of Barry and Wally chasing each other. Can't wait to see the Flash face off against Kid Flash, and it really does look amazing. So in this shot, Kid Flash is completely just absorbed, and you see the black veins all over his face, and Barry's having to pin him down against the wall to try and stop him. And then it seems meanwhile, whilst Barry's taking on Kid Flash, Oliver and also John Diggle, who have been reunited. We don't see that moment in the trailer, but we're definitely going to see it in the episode, and John is obviously going to be completely shocked. But also it should be mentioned that this is our John Diggle, this is Arrowverse John Diggle from Arrow, along with the normal version of Oliver. We have seen the Superverse version of John Diggle many times on Superman and Lois in the last 2 seasons, but it should be mentioned that this is in fact Arrow Diggle. And so they face off against Bloodwork, who is his big kind of ugly form. That's just the way that I describe it. It's just disgusting, you know, it's like just pure blood, and he is this huge monster. But you can see how small Oliver and Diggle are, but they are facing off against him. I guess Oliver has some sort of special arrow lined up, and Barry's going to come help them after dealing with Kid Flash and all the other Team Flash members that have been taken over by Bloodwork. And you get that same shot as the start of the trailer of Oliver drawing back his bow, about to fire an arrow at Bloodwork, and then Barry in the next shot is holding lightning, and it's like lassoed around Bloodwork. And so that is going to be a way that they are all going to try and stop Bloodwork by working together, using their own different techniques and skills in order to stop him and what he is doing. So the final shot of the trailer is of Barry, and he is just here in the street. It's a really nice clean shot. So I'm so excited for this episode, guys. Are you excited? Let me know down in the comments below. You guys can probably hear it in my voice. I'm ecstatic. When I first saw this, literally about half an hour ago from when I'm recording this video, I lost my mind when I saw it, and I watched the trailer that TV Line released. I'm going to watch it many more times until we get to that episode. This episode isn't going to be coming the week after today. We're going on a little bit of a break, a 3+ week break, and it's going to return on April 26th. So that's Wednesday as usual in its normal time slot, but we're going to have to wait a tiny bit longer. But that's just going to build the anticipation for this huge episode. It's dealing with the multiverse, a potential new dark multiverse, and also the return of so many characters, but most importantly, the return of Green Arrow. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.